The Ugly Duckling. On the banks of the canal in the tall grass, Mother Duck sat on her nest waiting for her ducklings to hatch. At last the eggs started to crack. One by one the little ducklings popped out of the eggs. Chirp, chirp! They cried as they saw the big outside world. Soon all the eggs had hatched except for one, the biggest of them all. Mother Duck sat on the egg a little longer, and at last the egg started to crack. Out came the chick. "Oh dear," she said, "you don't look anything like any of my other children. You're different." "He's ugly," quacked the other ducklings. "He doesn't look a bit like us. We don't want to play with him." Mother Duck took her ducklings down to the water. One by one the ducklings followed her. "I bet you can't swim, ugly duckling," exclaimed one of the little ducklings. But soon they were all swimming, even the big ugly duckling, who actually proved to be the best of the swimmers. Yet on the farm, all the animals made fun of the ugly duckling. The chickens teased him, the turkeys bit him, and even his own brothers were mean to him, all because he looked different. The ugly duckling felt sad and alone. One day, when he couldn't stand it any longer, he decided to fly away. He flew over the barnyard fence and on, weary and unhappy, until he came to the marsh where the wild ducks lived. But the wild ducks just laughed at him and said, "Go away, ugly duckling." Poor little ugly duckling! He ran away over the fields and meadows. It was getting dark and the duckling was so cold and tired. He found a little cottage and knocked on the door. An old woman who lived in the cottage opened the door and said, "If you can lay eggs, you can stay." But hard as he tried, he could not lay any eggs. "Then I have no use for you. You must go," said the old woman. The duckling walked in the cold for days. He had nowhere to go. One day some beautiful white swans flew overhead. "I wish I was like that," said the duckling. He decided to hide among the reeds in the marsh all through the cold winter months. Then when the warmer months came and the duckling came out of hiding, he felt the sun on his back. He spread his wings, they felt strong, and he flew high into the sky. He flew over the canal and saw some beautiful swans. He landed by the canal and saw himself in the water. He couldn't believe what he saw. He was no longer an ugly duckling, but a beautiful swan. He remembered how he had been laughed at and treated cruelly for being different. And now he was different because he was the most beautiful. The other swans invited him to fly with them, and so he did. The little duckling learned that being different isn't always such a bad thing after all. The end.